Hey Airbenders, I'm Melanie Florence and this is Hot Tea for the Soul, the weekly hot tea. So here we are for the air people that have got a lot of air in their charts, or for the people who are looking at their intellect, their mind, their anxiety, those sort of things, like, because they're all air element stuff. So could be business. You might want to actually be watching this reading for business maybe. But so I have a lot of air in my charts. Got a lot of fire in my charts. I've only actually got one earth, which is my front sign, so it's like half of my charts is fire and half of my charts is air. So these are always about the strongest elements in, so work it where it works for you. Breathe, 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 breathe. Breathing is strong. So decided I'm going to actually start breathing courses. Advanced breathing, not advanced, deep breathing and vocal confidence courses where I'm going to start next week. I'm going to be doing posters this week and put them on the poles around my area because I like to teach people how to breathe. Sometimes I can't, asthmatic. Right. So I digress. Air people, here we are. We've just gone through the full moon. I had the full moon on last night. I had a lot of full moons in it, believe it or not. But today I'm going to do a Greenwood reading for you, which goes through our challenge, our healing elements, what's our subconscious, driving forces, those sort of things. And then I'll do individual star signs at the end. Time-stamped. Takes me a day to get them time-stamped, but time-stamped. I'm still working on this stuff in the comments. So I'm going to start with the Dreamtime reading cards. I've been working with these now for a little while, getting to know them. They're sort of ancient Australian connection, our Aboriginal connection. What have we got in our deadly DNA today for the air peeps? All right, air peeps. I'll be having a good week. It's been a bit of a jumble. It's been busy for me. I had a new housemate in. All right, and I'm throwing these cards all over the place, but I'm going to take this one. I'm going to take that one. I'm going to take this one because it was in the last reading and I find it really interesting. So this is Social Butterfly. All right, and so this is sort of about seeing the beauty in the world around us. So it might be about taking a little bit of time out to actually spend some time in nature and have a look and find that beauty inside of yourself. Might be some deep breathing in there, but it's really taking a look at the simpler things, the simpler elements that we've got going on around us. So it might be time for you to step back, maybe look after yourself a little bit and treat yourself like you're beautiful, or look at the beauty around us. So this is simple things, all right? Wherever there is, there's transformation in here in this beauty, in the butterfly. And then we've got, excuse me, and then we've got the Death Adder. All right, so the Death Adder is talking about strategy. This is sort of a plan. He's not like... And I'm going to actually get the book out. Let me see if I can find it for a second. Give me a sec. Where did I put all books? Oh, I sort of want them. Oh, got myself a play suit. It's really cute. Love it. All right, so what have I got? The Death Adder. Centipede. Dragonfly. Death Adder. Strategy. Let's talk about what the Dreamtime reading cards say about the Death Adder and strategy. Okay. Because it can't sneak up on its prey or move swiftly, the Death Adder has to plan ahead. It will lie in wait on a walking track for its prey, concealing itself. This involves planning and patience. Often the only visible part will be its tail, which it will wiggle to encourage its prey to approach. The Death Adder's message is one of forward planning, knowing what it is that you want, making sure that you implement a plan but taking your time to achieve it. There are times when it is just not advisable to act hastily or charge ahead. And at this time, it is advised that you wait. You must take the time to work out the strategies you need to fulfill your ambitions and make sure you follow the plan. If you have worked out, and fulfill the plan you have worked out in order for you to get the results you are hoping for. Now is not the time to act impetuously without forethought or planning, right? So maybe it's time to take a step back. Like, it's good to watch what your plans are, and it says to me that something's evolving, right? And so take a step back and see the beauty of everything around you. It's no time to take hasty stuff, right? You don't have to rush for your plan, is what this is saying to me. Air people, my airbenders, you don't have to rush in there. That's what that's saying. Take your time, plan your strategy. Take time to breathe and take in the beauty of what's around you. All right, so we've got the Wildflower reading cards. Let's see what we got out of this. The Australian Wildflower reading cards. I'm an Australian wildflower. Incidentally, we got two. Got 2 by 2 for you guys. So we got the Spider Orchid Resolve and the Cattle Bush Persistence. So let's go to the Spider Orchid. Let's have a look. So we're going to see Persistence, but let's go to Resolve. Tree Spider Orchid. No, I don't know all of the wildflowers for Australia. I'm still learning. And sometimes I think that we can all learn together. So this is a bit like reading time, obviously. Story time. All right. Here we are. Tree Spider Orchid. That's awkward. Resolve. You can do this. Look at your individual actions for clues. For those facing seemingly unsurmountable problems, break them down into tiny parts. Tackle them one at a time. Strategy. Break it all down. While you got time, break it all down. Don't rush. Believe in yourself and trust your intuition. If it feels wrong, it will be. Look after your mind. So when we can step back from everything, we can take time to work this out, right? If we're not rushing. All right. So if it feels wrong, it will be. Look after your mind and body connections right now, and you'll feel the answers and strengthen your resolve to get things moving. Do not be put off by limitations of the past. A challenge could be a period of isolation, but from this new growth and possibility of a deeper spiritual experience. Now is not the time to share all, so keep something of yourself back a little until the time is better suited. Be very mindful of one-sided relationships. Now is definitely the time to balance those out. All right, so there's a lot to break down inside of that. So if it feels wrong, it will be. This is time to trust your intuition. This beauty is saying step back and take your time. Your strategy is saying, the Death Adder is saying step back and take your time, right? And so this is this resolve is to trust your intuition and don't be put off by limitations of the past. Now, if you give yourself limitations, you will surely reach them. Remove them. All right, so sometimes you've got to remove old ideas of yourself that are limiting, right? Because that's actually not you. And so you're allowed to remove those, right? So we can actually remove some limitations. All right, there could be a challenge of isolation. And if you are going through a situation where you are being in isolation, and we know that the world isn't on off situation about that, it may be a time and a period to reconnect with some old stuff. I found that friends of mine in Melbourne, when they were in lockdown, half of it was, trying to find a reconnection with something. Somebody it was crocheting, somebody it was buying a deck of cards, so it's different for everybody, but this time maybe of isolation may be just a time for you to actually spend a little bit of time on new growth and spiritual experience. All right, you don't have to share everything. All right, sometimes it's personal. Okay, and so with that, I'm going to say we've got persistence. Now, I picked up a little kid years and years ago. Some kid had lost this in a car park, and it was like a black sign, and he punched all the holes around it, and written in gold, and this black sign was, persistence means never giving up even when things are bad. And I thought, that's so simple, because that's exactly what it means. Even when things are bad, be persistent, trust your intuition, pacing yourself. A lot of this in here, for air people, I'm hearing pace yourself real hard inside of these cards. Pace yourself. Find the beauty. Find your resolve. All right? Make that resolve to connect to yourself and reconnect to things. All right? So, I'm going to give us some earth magic. Earth magic. All right. We are 2 and 2 that have come out of those 2 decks for the air people this week. All right, earth magic, what have we got? Thank you. The ebb and flow. This is another patience card. There's an ebb and a flow. We move with the moon. We're the only planet apparently that's got this tidal locked moon like this that does this for us. And so this ebb and this flow we have, and it's that patience to wait and that resolve to watch the ebb and the flow. You don't have to be busy, an action person all the time. All right, just be persistent and consistent. Don't rush forward. Plan your strategy. Don't be reactive in this time. And that is all in the ebb and flow. So there's a bit of time and tide inside of all of this for you, air people. All right, what else have I got? I'm going to give us one from the Archetypes deck, just because I like it's modern and different. The Wild Unknown Archetypes. What have you got for us? Oh I'll take the top one. Oh, the animal. Oh, this backs off. This is like, you know, just stop thinking so much. This is a bit more primal instinct sort of stuff. And so inside of all of this, be persistent and take your, when it feels right, do it. So when it doesn't feel right, don't do it. When it does feel right, do it. And that's sort of the nature of the beast, right? Air people, Buddy is outside. You can hear him hollowing. It's excellent. I can't have him in. He crawls all over the table. Full stop. Okay, so I'm going to give us a Greenwood reading. So the Greenwood, as explained, goes through, it starts with your present state. So let's start there. What has the Greenwood got for us today? Moving the cards around to make some room. I'm going to turn it down so you can see. All right, I'm going to do the individual star signs after air peeps. And here we start with our present state. What have we got? The Green Man. All right, the Green Man takes the power. He takes his spiritual power. He takes his spiritual passion and he's applying it to the earth. All right, this is our Emperor. This is the king of all he surveys. He's not really concerned by everyday trivialities of the human existence. He really is in for, like, really taking control of like everything that he has, and it's taking the power and a real natural instinct. This is really honing in with your natural being and in a really empowered way. All right, so that's a very grounded energy to start with, even though it has got an Aries feel to it. It's taking a bit of control and power in your hands in the physical plane. All right, so what have we got for the present state? This is the spiritual mediator, short stop. This is the next thing that you should be meditating on. It's the next energy that's surrounding us. All right, frustration. Okay, so this is 5. This is of the senses. As you can see, this is like arrows being thrown off everywhere. So cannot hit the target. You might feel that there's a frustrating energies going on. You're a bit grounded. You want something a bit more stable and taking that power of it. But there's a lot of frustrating energy going on. It might be wasted energies. It's wasted communications. It's not hitting its mark. And so it's a bit frustrating that we just keep on throwing those arrows around. But it's of the senses. All right. So you can take that back a little bit if you don't personalize it so much, I guess. But this is really a frustration, and you might be having frustration communicating that you're the king, you're the emperor, or gaining that. The next card is the conscious will. It's what you consciously think about what's going on. Ooh, air peeps. All right, this is beautiful. This is a euphoric spot. So, you know, where this Green Man, as I said, is slightly detached from that. This guy is really not. He's really involved in that. Like, he really wants that he's able to express his love, the strength of that love, that he has that not control, that loving home. He's a loving father that expresses that. So this could be you that feels that you want it, that's what you want. This is your conscious will. This could be a person you're looking at. It could be that's the feeling that you're looking to get. All right, and so if we're really honest, these mushrooms, these are our magic mushrooms. We're talking about the Nordic area. So what actually happens with these deer, I'm going to explain. I don't explain it so often. All right, so what happens is these deer actually eat the mushrooms. So apparently they don't actually get it's not the euphoric feeling, doesn't come from the mushrooms themselves. What happens is they filter it and then they drink each other's urine, right? And then they're all in this lovey-dovey, prancy round feeling from that. And maybe it just keeps them warm, keeps their heart warm. But this has actually got to do with that real lovey, euphoric feeling of love. And so this may be something that you want in the king. It might be something that you want to emulate. All right, that's a feeling that we've got around you in your conscious will. The next card is the driving force. What's the driving force of this situation? The source of your power. What's the source of the air people's power? They're in Castle Greystone. I have the power. It's rebirth. Just left in my hand just then. You know, this is about, so I love this card. You know, the more I've got to tune with this deck, and the more I've read it recently, the more I tune in. You know, really what we're doing is we're taking the bones of death, you know, the death card, and we take those bones and we pick from those bones and we make a new life. So we take the foundation of ourselves, the bare bones of ourselves. And when we have a rebirth, we put them in the pot. We put them in the pot with all the other ingredients and new ingredients, and we filled this pot, and that's what this rebirth and the Eight of Cups is about. 8 being a heaven to earth sort of number, but this rebirth of bringing yourself back to yourself inside of here. It's very fertile, as you can see, a rebirth symbol inside of that. But this really gives us a real strength from the bones, our bare bones. So this is what your source of your power is, air peeps. Okay. So, what else have we got? This is the unconscious empathy. So the Eight of Wands. So we're going, it's 8 and 8. We've got this 8 heavens on earth, bringing into heaven and earth. So this is your unconscious. So unconsciously, you really are turning those wands, those 8 wands, to your heart. This is the hearth fire. This is the fire that warms your house. This is a fire that warms you in your home. This is taking all of your ideas, all of your inspiration, and turning them in to bring something else inside of, to what is your inspiration. And so this is your unconscious, as you really are working out what warms. You're driven by the things that warm your heart, your faith, your spirit, and your passion in your life. Nice spot. All right, so what's our challenge in that case? What's the challenge? Ooh, exploitation. All right, so how do you apply this all to the world? We've got the green man here and we're frustrated because we've really got this euphoric feeling, and this is a lot emotional, and it's a faith rebirth and those sort of things inside of here and what you believe in. But how do you exploit that, right? How do you make that bees in the trap? So this might be that you're having a little bit of trouble how to make your money, how to manifest. This is a manifestation card. All right, with this 6 of Wands, it might feel that you feel like you're being exploited. Sometimes, you're being exploited, or are you exploiting yourself, is what this card sort of asks each time. So, but the challenge inside of this feels like it's working out how to manifest all of this emotion and this faith and put it into a physical realm that actually does something for you to create this honey situation in your life. How do you make the honey is your challenge inside of this, air peeps. The next card is the healing element. What have we got for the healing element for the air peeps this week? So this is having faith. This may be a fire element woman who is around you that is driven, and she's a passionate woman. It's faith. She believes in what she thinks. She has no problem picking up her sword, like the air queen has no problem with picking up her sword. But she has no problem picking up her sword and fighting for what she believes in. It's also got this rebirth. This is a very fertile position. So you will find that you're going through this rebirth. So this has inspiration in it. So it might say that with this exploitation that you really need to sit back, all right, with your strategy inside of here. Have faith. Listen to it. The healing element is that if it feels right, it is. If it feels right, if it feels like it's wrong, it's probably wrong, right? And so this is trusting your inspiration. She's a woman of faith and she's driven with her passion. And that could be you, or that could be somebody around you. You feeling like that you're driven. All right, so make the right choices and you will be able to manifest. That's your healing element. What's the general outcome for the air peeps before we get to the individuals? It's slightly longer than the fire peeps straight away. You got 2 and 2 out of the 2 and 2 in the beginning. Got a few more cards on the table than the fire peeps had. I don't have so many fire peeps. Watch me. I know air people. Let me know that's how the universe came. You saw that. Okay, so sorry. General outcome for the air peeps. Ooh. We discussed this. So these are the bones. Alright, so this is the bones. So whatever it is that you are trying to have a rebirth from and for and let go, and whatever was holding you back, these frustrations and trying to get this, to show your earthy life, and there's going to be a death in here. This is a death. This is the ending. This is the recognition of the ending. And if you have faith in that, then you walk through. These are the bones that we put in that pot. And they're the bones that we put in that cup to remake our lives from. So we hit this spot where it's an ending. All right, from that we know we make the bones of a new beginning. So if there is something that you have been sitting back on that is an ending, this is the end of that. You're able to work with that frustration. It might be time for you to end some of these cycles and find that resolve. All right, really interesting ending. So I'm going to do individuals for each star sign. Whew. All right, so I'm going to start with Gemini. Let's go with Gemini. Okay. Start with Gemini. What have we got for you guys? Gemini. 3 cards for Gemini for this week. What do we got? Attraction. All right. So when you let go of something, there's something really freeing. It might perplex you for a few days sometimes when you let go of shit that you knew you needed to let go. It's like sometimes we fight for it, right? But when we let go of it, we find this new attraction. We find this new spot, these 2 cups. So you're going to find something that actually is attractive to you, Gemini. That there's a new attraction and there's a new way of feeling inside of this. What else? What else for Gemini this week? Okay, the moon. Okay, you've got attraction to the moon. So this is a really, again, fertile situation. It, you know, it can be seen as wishy-washy, but I find that this is a really dreamy state. So it might be that you are attracted to dream again, because this is definitely a water sign, maybe Pisces card, depending on which one you look at. All right, but we have this strong, fertile period of perhaps dreaming, and that might be, you've got a dream period with this person. It might be a honeymoon period that we're talking about. That really is a honeymoon sort of combination just sitting there, Gemini. All right, what else have we got? Honeymoon. Honeymoon, I like that. That combination really does say that. All right. Oh. All right. But inside of this, there are things that you don't know. The scales are tipped. All right. So be very careful, Gemini, with this attraction, that what you're dreaming about it, that you don't blind yourself to circumstances, that you haven't, you know, put yourself that this is, you know, Gemini, you know what the scales are to be tipped. I mean, that's Libra sort of, but it really sits in this vein, Gemini, that this person that you're attracted to, really take the time, because there might be something, the scales have been tipped, and, you know, this isn't, it might not all turn out the way that you think, this death. So it really is, there might be stuff that you are remaining to be blinded. You might feel that something is not fair inside of this. It might be that there's still conversations going on with this person and next. Like this, the next card after this definitely would be that, but this is still, there might be still stuff that they've got going on that you don't know about. There might be still factors in this dream state that you need to really look at. Quite often it's like, you know, the scales are tipped in a different way, are 2 and 2 inside of them. There's a duality in this circumstance, even, Gemini. So I would be very careful with your dreaming there. Really get a perspective of where you're sitting inside of the situation, so you don't break your own heart, maybe, Gemini. All right, that's interesting, but we have got a change, Gemini. A definite change from where there's an ending in here, and there will be a movement inside of here. If it doesn't feel like it's right, it doesn't feel like it's right. If it's wrong, it probably is wrong. Don't be too, what's it say? Jump into it too fast. All right. Sorry. I mean, I'm going to give that to you as well, Gemini. This is boredom, this card to go with this. So something in here with this duality and this 2 and 2, you're going to find that it's going to bore you, or that this is not going to give you the emotional. It's an emotional rest card inside of here. So we've doubled up with that 2 and 2 and ended up with another emotional card on the table, which says this actually could lead to something that isn't necessarily emotionally fulfilling for you. All right, Gemini. I hope that helps, my Gemini peeps. Thank you very much for being here. I really do appreciate your support. Love you guys, and I'll catch you next week. All right, so next I have got Libra. All right, Libra, 3 cards for Libra. 1, 2, all right, the world has changed. All right, so this is sort of this is a beautiful card about aging. This is a beautiful card about learning things about yourselves, or rediscovering things about yourselves as we walk this world tree, this little labyrinth that we walk back on ourselves, and we walk back on ourselves as we age, as we grasp new things, and we change our world. And so this is our path to ourselves. So you might feel like this, you know, this death and this rebirth for you, because there's a death rebirth sitting inside of this, is really about the path to yourself, and how you are congruent and really grabbing on to that. And this is knowing that we age, knowing that we're churning and we're getting older inside of this, and really going after, perhaps the reason that you're going after this hearth fire is because of that. Libra. Okay, Libra, what else have we got? Oh, and we're going to have an emotional beginning. So you've gone through all of this death, and you've gone through, and you want this euphoric feeling, and you're really trying to work out how to put that love in your life and exploit that and make that in your life and in that turn. And so what this leads you is an emotional new beginning, right? And so you've gone through all of this strong walk, this death, this frustration of not how to apply yourself into manifest into the real world. But this is saying emotionally, you've taken this path and you're going to find yourself in a new place, all right? That can be new relationships, but this is an emotional new beginning. All right, maybe you cut yourself a break inside of this death, and doing that gives you a spot to move forward from, Libra. All right. All right, one more card for Libra. What have we got this week for Libra? Whew. That one apparently. Challenge. This is physical challenge. So we go from a 1 to a 2. This is sort of stepping up. This is taking on the physical challenge of having a new rebirth. Whoop. Sorry. Oh, you can see our Mad March hairs in here, which is our hero of, and we've got our faith, our woman of faith, and that's fighting for what you want. This is fighting and challenging the world, but actually taking on the physical challenge. If there's something to do to change your world this week and give yourself an emotional better place from where you've gone through this transition, this is saying, you know, it's time to jump out and take on the physical challenge, you know, take on your inspiration and make and smash it into the physical world. It's about manifesting just there and taking on that challenge. As you've changed your path and you take on this new beginning, you've got a new challenge in the world to take on, Libra. All right, amazing. Thank you very much for being here. Love you guts. And check out my other tea if you've seen it, and I will catch you next week, Libra. All right. What have I got for Aquarius? Aquarius. Communication. This is a king of communication. So this could be you, but this is really justice. This is about talking, straight talking, straight shooting. This king is just, and he is looking to take. He believes that he's right because he thinks that he's got it all in his hand, and in communication level, he really does. He's moved past being erratic and spontaneous. This also says hold back and don't be so spontaneous in reach and when you're in your strategy sort of thing, because this guy really is pacing out his communication. He knows what he's got to say, and he knows that those arrows are going to hit the target. So he's in a great spot to communicate where he's at, righteously where he's at. Aquarius. So that could be you, or you embodying those qualities, or somebody that you're dealing with. Element man. All right, 2 more for Aquarius. Oh, this card is having faith. This is, so number 9 is respect. It's respecting the choices, the morals, our boundaries. It's everything we've drawn. It's everything that we've decided to have faith in. This card is you taking those sticks home. Responsibility is you knowing that this is the burden that you bear. This is what you choose to carry. This is where you choose your morals. So when we put that together with the king, this is somebody who's, you know, you're really going to be determined to show, I take responsibility. I take responsibility and faith, my morals, this is a real strong faith card where you take your responsibilities home and you're communicating those. Aquarius, nice strong position of faith. Communicate your faith and your grounding inside of things. 1 more card for Aquarius. What have we got coming out of this rebirth, death that we have in this circumstance? Hold back, see the beauty and resolve. Be persistent, trust your instinct and the ebb and flow of it all. 1 more card. It's time to celebrate, Aquarius. All right, whatever this is, whatever this challenge is, you are going through a rebirth. You have got the Queen of Wands. You might have had to manifest and, show your honey, but you really are going to be talking to people about, every part of your life that got you to here and how responsible you are for your life. And you take those responsibilities really seriously. And people will be unable to deter you from that, which is fantastic. Speak your truth, speak your faith, speak your instinct. Don't be impulsive. This is not impulsive, but it's time, a new celebration. Something is going to come. There is a death of a circumstance which will leave you in a position that this frustration is gone. These wands are stable. This is marriage card. This is, we all celebrate on the hill, Aquarius. So the sun is setting inside of that as the family dances around the fire, very confidently, Aquarius. this is actually generally a fantastic spot for you to have as an outcome from your situation. I really hope this has helped somebody out there. And Aquarius, I hope that you were well. I catch you on the flip side. Love you guys. Catch you later.